In this video, we will discuss adding the customer master file along with all ship tools, which means that you can create one customer number that have multiple ship to addresses and multiple stores under the main account number. Now, the master screen or the master customer screen is this link, and it's located under the master data. I'm gonna double click it to open the screen right now. Like all other screens in Aria, you start by typing the account number in this case, which must be 5 digits long. It can be alphanumeric, and it's very important to select a pattern for the customer number, which will help you later when you run reports and use a range of customers, for example, or at least search the list for a specific account number. For now, I'm going to use just a generic name, cost01, and I'm pressing enter, like what we did with the styles, the sales reps, the vendors, and all other videos. And I'm going to click on the add button to start adding the information. For explanation and ease of use purposes on this video right now, I'm just going to use generic names, and you're going to understand the reason later. So for the name, I'm just going to type company name, which goes here, and I'm pressing my tab key. It goes to the phone 212. Then tab key, I'm jumping to the status. These are the available status for each account. Potential is actually used for sales and marketing purposes. You will be able to enter contact management issues and subjects for it, but you're not going to be able to do orders, invoices, or anything unless you switch the customer to an active status. Hold will allow you to ship the current open sales orders and receive payments from your customers, but it's not going to allow you to do any new sales order for this customer. Cancel is a cancelled customer, or status you use for cancelled customers, and you cannot put the customer on cancel unless all accounts receivable transactions have been paid, orders have been shipped, and there is no open transactions with the account. So for now, I'm going to choose the status active, and I'm using my tab. Now we're at the address fields. Here I'm just going to type company. So here I'm going to type just the company address and city, state, zip code. You have some additional information on the right hand side, like DBA name, buyer name, bookkeeper name, and another phone number and a fax number. Now, as you can see, the lower part of the screen is divided into multiple tabs. Right now we are in the general tab, which will allow you to choose sales rep 1, for example. Like I'm choosing Carlos Lerner over here, which he gets 1% commission on sales. You will have the ability to actually adjust the commission percentage for each sales rep, and you also have the ability to choose another sales rep to split the commission with. If this is a factored customer, what you need to do is just simply select the factor code or select it from the list, as I did right now. If there is any merchandise discount, like here I'm giving this company 5% discount, merchandise discount, and automatically all orders entered for this account will be discounted 5% at the beginning. Over here, this is a factor ID number, which is the number that the factor or Rosenthal assigns for this company as the customer number. So also price levels. As you remember on the video that we created for the style master, we said that you can assign 3 different price levels for each style number, and this is what ties the customer to the price level on the style. So if I choose price level B, for example, this means that whenever I enter a sales order for this customer, and as soon as the user selects the style number, pull price level B as the selling price for this customer. Down here on the lower left hand side, or on this area, further classification issues. Like this is a chain store. This is we usually sell him with net 30. For example, I'm gonna use that t-shirt division. I have the vendor number here, meaning the my number at this customer account. So he's assigning for me as I'm assigning for him CUS01. He's assigning for me customer number demo 01, for example. This customer falls within the Northwest region. We usually ship him with best way. All send packing instructions or packing slip only, for example, and all of those are choices that you are building on the code screen, and you can keep choosing over here. If there is a main email address, if they have a website, for example, and any generic note, quick one-line note to save for this customer. Now, up till now, we're just simply entering the main account, right? Which means that this is a store. If you didn't do anything over here on the billing tab, that means that we are shipping, and this is the address for shipping, and billing the same account. But you still have multiple options over here. What if I need to send the bill to a PO address? So I'm just going to click on, for example, an alternate address over here, and I'm going to say PO Box 101 in New York, for example. So this means that when I do an invoice for this customer, ship the merchandise to here and send the bill to this account, and automatically whenever you create an invoice or an order, those two addresses, and as soon as you select of course the customer number, those two addresses will be visible for the user. Now also so this is the billing tab. For the fields tab, we found that sometimes because of different businesses, they might need to save additional information that we do not have a space for on the screen. So we're giving you a custom tool where you can customize those fields. Like an example, let me say let's say that I need to save an email account for accounts receivable contacts, so I can send them statements, right? And I don't have any place over here that says email for accounts receivable. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna click on this tab, or I'm sorry, this description, which is the first one on the field. Double click, it opens this screen for me, and I'm gonna change this to say, for example, AR contact email. Oh. I'm running out of space here, so I'm just gonna do this, and I'm gonna click OK. As you can see, Aria changes the label of this field, and starting from this time up, you will be able to save the AR contacts email. And this change is going to be applicable to all other customers you're going to enter later on. Aria also gives you the ability to enter contact information over here. I'm going to click on new, for example, and I'm going to just say my main contact is a guy named Jag. He is sales manager, and you can save his phone numbers, fax numbers, solicitations for emails, email address, web address if he has any special sites, and so on. And you will be able to enter all sorts and contact information over here. Once I click OK, this is saved and can be of course removed or modified, or actually this screen has the ability to import from Outlook, but we will discuss that in the advanced functionality. Now, profile, binding, and history, those are used for contact management issues, and we're gonna skip them for now, since that they are related to the advanced use in the system and activating the contact management abilities. So I'm gonna jump directly to the special tab over here to discuss some additional information. On the special tab, when we were doing the general part, we said that we're gonna ship this customer with best way, but For example, break weight. Let's say if the weight of the merchandise exceeds 200, use a different method, UPS ground for example. And Aria will automatically check and evaluate the weight of the merchandise on the invoice and automatically will switch the ship via for you. If you're giving your customer credit limit, this is where you enter that and you set the expiration date for it. For example, and customer dunce number, dunce rating, consolidate invoices. This is gonna apply in case if you decided to add ship tools to this customer later, and if this is set to yes, this means that when we ship an invoice to multiple stores, generate one invoice only, meaning consolidated, or consolidated by DC. If this is yes, meaning you generate one invoice for each DC, and of course it depends on the setup that we're going to discuss in a few minutes. And the store GLN number, send monthly statements if you wish, yes and no. Also another tool here to increase and pad the freight charges a little bit up. If there is any percentage over here like 5%, meaning calculate and estimate for me the freight charges and then add 5% to it for safety purposes. We're done creating the customer or the main account. What you need to do is just simply click on the save button. So we right now have a customer saved in the database. What if I need to enter multiple ship tools for this customer? Ship tools are added from exactly the same screen, and you will start by entering the customer number. Now when we were adding the main account, when I pressed enter, it gave me that message that says do you want to add, re-enter or browse. Now the customer is on the system, so the three choices do not apply. You cannot add because it's added, right? Browse, you can just simply click on this button. Re-enter will clear the field. So now when I press enter, it's not going to give me the same choices again, and it actually found the customer in the data file, it displayed the information, and now it's waiting for you in the store field to start creating the first ship to ID for this customer. Now store IDs are actually assigned by the customer himself, so they choose the IDs, and it's very important to use the IDs that are assigned by the customers for EDI purposes. Okay, so let's say that this guy decides to name his stores numerically. So this is store number 1, and you have up to 10 digits in the store field, and now I am pressing enter. So this is a new entity, so this is why I'm getting this message. 001 is not found in the file. What would you like to do? I'm just going to click on add. So now we are adding store number 1 for this customer. Now Aria automatically copies some of the information and enables you to change only the part that's applicable on store level, right? So name, Aria is actually, so for the store name, Aria is pulling the name for you and allows you to change it. And of course the ship to address for the store, and the city, I'm gonna just do this as NY again. So we need to agree that the address that's typed on the top left hand side is always the ship to address, whether you're actually adding a main account or a store account. Now of course the contact information for the store is typed over here, and you have a status of the store, and this is also exactly the same status as the customer number. You can have a DBA, phone, fax, and everything else as we discussed a few minutes ago. Now on the general tab over here, as you can see, nothing can be changed except a few things, like for example the sales rep can be changed, since that the store can be located in a completely different area and a different sales rep is managing the information or managing this store. The ship via also can be changed, since that if you're adding a store in California, you might be shipping completely different way with a completely different method. Now, so Aria will allow you to change only the information that's applicable to the store. Classification cannot be changed, since that the classification is related to the main account. It's either the account is a chain store or not, right? Then we're gonna go to the billing tab. Now here I have different choices to set the billing address for the customer or for the store. So this, with this checked or with this set, this means ship the information to this address and send the bill to the address I entered on the main account. Or if this is selected, meaning ship and bill the main address. If this is selected, user will be able to type whatever he chooses over here, for example, and that means we're shipping to this address and we're billing a completely different address, right? Now the fields, the contacts for the store are exactly like the main account number. On the special tab, as you can see, none of this information is enabled except for the break weight. As we said, ship via is related to the store level. And I'm just gonna click on my save button to save my first store. Then we should be repeating the same actions again for the following stores. So if I add store number 02, I am pressing enter and I'm clicking on add, and I'm filling in the again. I'm setting my billing tab over here, then I'm jumping to the special tab. Now, one thing that I need to discuss with you before we finalize this video, which is DCs or creating DCs. DCs are treated exactly as if they are store numbers, and the DCs also have a DC ID or an ID that's assigned by the customer. So if you're adding somebody like JCPenney or Sears or something like that, they will give you the store numbers and they will give you also the DC numbers, right? So make sure that you are using the DC numbers that are assigned for you by the customer. Let's say that this customer has DC number 01. As you can see, I did exactly the same actions. I typed the DC number over here and I pressed enter, then I'm clicking on my add, then I am putting also the addresses, DC address, and let's do this like New Haven NJ 07040, right? With the same statuses, of course. DC is put on hold with addresses and information and so on. Billing, I don't care, because simply nothing goes to the or nothing gets billed to the DC. It's always set on the store level, but still you will have the ability to set it up if you wish. And I'm just gonna need to save. The only thing I'm interested in regards to DC is simply the addresses. Now let's go back again and add a regular store. We created store number 1. I'm just going to create store number 2 right now. When I press enter, store is not found, add. Now the whole idea about the DC is that we need to ship to a completely different location, right? So this is the ship to address for the store. Now it becomes I need to actually ship to the DC. So instead of actually typing the DC address over here, what I need to do, I'm just gonna go to the special tab, then you see this field, DC center. I'm just gonna click on this and I'm gonna say this: when I ship the merchandise for store number 2, use DC number 01. So this address becomes NA, not applicable, right? So we're actually, some of our customers actually use this to actually save the street address of the store, right? And by just simply assigning a DC number over here, This means that Aria will automatically ship to the address that's located on the DC. Still build the address that you set over here through those three options, but when you print an invoice or when you do any EDI transaction, everything that's related to shipping is actually being shipped to the address that you select on the DC over here. And as we said on the main account, if you say consolidate by DC, let's say that you have an invoice that has 30 stores on them, but those 30 stores are grouped on 3 DCs, for example. Aria would generate for you 3 invoices only, one for each DC. And of course, don't forget to save.